We have a little small problem. Audio problem. Okay, I think they hear me. Allora, stiamo cercando di risolvere il problema. We are trying to fixing the problem.
Some audio wiring issues.
Il bello della diretta.
Assolutamente. Allora, adesso dovreste sentirmi assolutamente. Eccomi. Mi sentite, vero, adesso? Oh, perfetto, benissimo. Allora, second start. This is the good of me on live. First of all, thank you very much to Mr. Grant Howitt, Mr. Rollinkuntz, Mr. Eric HULFSSON to join our Speaker's Corner here for you straight on Ubibol channel. So, welcome. Thank you very much for the chat on the support that told me how much this streaming live had a problem on the beginning, like the greatest things, okay? Now in Italian. Ragazzi, buonasera a tutti, grazie per avermi detto che il mio microfono bastardissimo non funzionava, adesso l'abbiamo fatto funzionare. Purtroppo la fonte era un po' ballerina. Benvenuti a tutti. Allora, non ho la mia mod, quindi dovrete avere pazienza con gli shoutout. Lo facciamo subito a Rensicchino che come giustamente ha detto mi sono autobannato il microfono, quindi non è un problema. Facciamo l'SO a tutti. Allora signori, buonasera e benvenuti allo Speaker's Corner. Chi abbiamo con noi? Ve lo dico subito, come ho detto prima. Abbiamo Mr. Grant Howitt, Mr. Rollinkuntz, Mr. Eric HULFSSON e io che sono Ubibol. Allora, adesso passo in inglese. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud to introduce you Mr. Grant Howitt, Mr. Rollinkuntz and Mr. Eric HULFSSON. We are here to discuss about the world of tabletop RPGs, very special ones, because here we have two authors and illustrators that are very, very popular in Italy. They create some games that here are so popular. They are not considered as the mainstream of the tabletop RPGs, but we are here because Italy is very selective in games. So we decided to invite them because till Modena Play of this year, where Mr. Grant Howitt was as guest, the reaction of people for the author of Despire that here is brought in Italy by the Isola of Ilion. It's huge, it's great. Even in the people that plays that play tabletop RPGs in every association, in every home, in everywhere, there is really a great response. Moreover, Mr. Rollinkuntz, we are speaking about a double man. Come on, guys, illustrator and game designer who plays Ragnarok had really big fun, and Mr. Eric can speaks about this very well because he played recently. Am I right, Mr. Eric?
Yeah, you're totally right. And I really love the works of Rollinkuntz and Mrs. Howitt, and I absolutely...
Please don't call me Mr. Howitt.
Okay, sorry. Okay,
That's fine.
it's Grant. Okay, then.
It's like a Reservoir Dogs, no? Mr. White, Mr. Black, Mr. Green,
Yeah.
no?
Yeah.
It's
more like I'm
Sir
talking about-
Howitt. It's Sir Howitt since the knighting.
Yeah, just
believe.
this. No, I don't have any truck with that monarchy shit. I wouldn't accept a knighthood if they offered me one.
Okay.
Sorry, Eric.
We go straight with the names. With the names.
Anyway, it's really a pleasure to be with all of you guys, and I'm really I can't wait to ask you many things. Something I already asked Grant at Modena. I don't know if you remember, but I will ask again for those who weren't there back in Modena in June, and can't wait to start all of this.
Grant, remember only big guy that came there to ask about Orkborg.
Surely.
Anyway, I made the Italian part right now. Ok, ragazzi, stiamo parlando di due autori incredibili. Ok, stiamo parlando di due autori incredibili perché sia Mr. Grant Howitt è diventato estremamente popolare per il gioco in italiano che è The Spire. The Spire è veramente un gioco, insomma, incredibile, che ha avuto anche la sua espansione di recente ed è veramente molto giocato in tutti gli ambiti associativi del gioco di ruolo. Poi insomma Eric, che è come me appassionato di giochi, sa benissimo quale gioco rivoluzionario è stato. Comunque, detto questo, per Rollinkuntz, che è l'illustratore di Orkborg e creatore insieme a Grant di questa mod di Morkborg, che ha avuto un grandissimo successo nel Kickstarter. Abbiamo lui che è illustratore e game designer. Game designer tra l'altro di un altro bellissimo gioco di ispirazione OSR morkborgiana, ovvero Ragnarok, che appunto Eric ha detto di aver giocato, ed è veramente un party game estremamente divertentissimo, ok? Ok.
Assolutamente.
Oh sì, scusa Eric. Poi ultimo ma non ultimo, il mio caro amico Eric, esperto di GDR, podcaster di Stranger Games su Spreaker, per cui andate a assolutamente sentirlo, !guests, per andare a vedere tutti i link dei nostri ospiti. Detto questo, torno un attimo in inglese. Okay, let's get back to English, guys, and let me tell you the first question that we are usual to do to our guests. Introduction. This is the worst part, okay? So the question is easy. Grant, who is Mr. Grant Howitt? Please, let us know.
Mr. Grant Howitt. So I am a game designer primarily.
Yeah.
And a writer secondarily. I work in Sheffield, which is in the north of England. I live in the countryside now, which is lovely. And I'm best known for Honey Heist. I'm best known for Spire and Heart, some other games that I've done, and also Goblin Quest, One Last Job, some other. Basically, I'm known for either big games about dying or small games about theft, and those are my two things that I'm excited about. I put out one page game a month, and I was overjoyed when Roland got in touch with me and said, "Grant, I've had an idea for a game. It's based on Morkborg, but it's got orcs in. It's called Orkborg." I said, "Yeah, sure, mate. Let's do it. Let's go."
Grant, the chat told me one thing. Is it possible to raise a little bit up your volume or get closer the microphone? Is it possible?
Probably.
Yeah.
Let's see. My apologies.
Because they told me that you are very low voice they would like to.
Is this better?
Yeah, this is better.
You got the bassy tones.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
On chat, people said Grant look like Thor, so I think that this is the best compliment that they can give you.
Who's Thor?
Yeah, like Thor, like a Chris Hemsworth, the Thor of Marvel, the superhero.
Oh! I think you might get different Thor in Italy, but yeah, okay, sure.
So thank you very much for the introduction, my friend, and then we go for the Rollinkuntz. Mr. Rollinkuntz, who are you? Who is Mr. Rollinkuntz?
Hi, I'm Rollinkuntz. I'm an illustrator and game designer, and occasional reluctant graphic designer that works out of Austin, Texas, in the south of the U.S. If you look at a few of my games, you can probably discern that, or just also products. One of the big things I'm known for is the Dun Generator, which is a deck of playing cards that generates little inky dungeons. So they're like fully illustrated with a whole bunch of dungeon rooms, and there's a simple mechanism to really quickly build all these organic dungeons. But if you take a look, you can pretty quickly see from my catalog, such as it is, that I designed by coming up with the name first. A terrible method of game design or making things in general.
It's fine.
That has served me well so far. I wanted to. I'll have to. Before Twitter fully catches a flame, I'll have to find the DM, the original DM, and show off how it all started there. It's a very silly idea that quickly scope creeped out of control.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Ok, I do a little bit translation for our friend on chat that come from Italy. Ok ragazzi, allora siamo di fronte a il signor Grant Howitt. Il signor Grant Howitt è l'avete chiamato il Thor de Noatri, quindi è un autore di giochi di ruolo da tantissimo tempo, di base a Sheffield in Inghilterra, è diventato famoso per alcuni giochi come The Spire, come Orkborg, e ha preso questo progetto che, se fate !guest potete andare nella sua pagina di Patreon, di un gioco di ruolo da una pagina al giorno. È una grande sfida a livello autoriale, ma Grant, vi assicuro che se avrete modo di leggere i suoi giochi, e lo spero, è un game designer di livello altissimo, e i bravi game designer non hanno bisogno di manuali da 300-400 pagine, possono fare tranquillamente tutto in una pagina, e questo ve lo posso garantire. Passiamo al caro nostro amico Rollinkuntz, che lo vedete con un pochino di lag, ma trasmette dal Texas, per cui capite bene che diciamo le linee italiane si stanno sforzando per questa join incredibile fra Stati Uniti, Regno Unito e Italia in due parti diverse. E detto questo, a questo punto
stiamo letteralmente mettendo sotto pressione queste povere linee italiane.
We are saying that if there is a little bit of lag, don't worry, because we are making connection with our horrible landline of internet between United States, United Kingdom, and 2 point different of Italy. So our provider of line call us and say we made a miracle. That's all. Anyway, the last one is my friend Mr. Eric Olson, podcaster, expert of GDR, of tabletop RPG. So, Eric, who is Eric Olson?
I really don't know who is this guy, but I think that does some silly things on web. No, seriously, I'm just a dude that plays RPGs from too much time, I think. And I decided in 2001, if I remember correctly, to start a podcast about unconventional games. Well, all the games that are new in the mechanics and with something different from mainstream games. With nothing bad in mainstream games, but I think people already know them. If we talk about D&D, the Call of Cthulhu, well, we all know this. beside, not everybody knows maybe a little title published on itch.io and who is quite amazing and very few people know. So this is why I decided to start my podcast, and here we are.
And this is very good. Okay, let's continue with a question. Okay, so the second point is, Grant, Roland, let me ask you one very simple thing. Your approach to illustration and game design, because I love your approach in both of your heart, but I would like the people in chat let know what is your what is your game design and illustration point of view. So let's go first, Grant.
So is this like how I write games myself and what sort of my method is, that sort of thing?
Yeah. You can talk freely about this. It's just a I can say a spot. You can open as you like.
So, what I like doing in role playing is
It's very difficult.
It's okay. I will write a thing, and then I will ignore it for a week, and then I will come back to it, and then I will
That's
change
fantastic.
3 words from it, and then I will ignore it for another week and come back to it. I'll be no. We'll throw the entire thing out. And so me and Chris Taylor, who I do a lot of my co-authoring with on my larger products, we have a thing where we'll write a whole system, we'll write everything, and we'll be like, oh, we don't like it, and we'll throw it out. And it'll be about maybe 8 or 9 editions of a game will exist before we ever tell anyone about it, which is not a smart way of making games. It's very slow. It's very expensive, and I can't recommend it. But it works, and we make nice things. We make beautiful things. But that is, I suppose, iterative design, but not in a sort of cool, hip San Francisco way. More in a sort of we just keep getting it wrong. So
Ok, make a little bit of translation. Ok, la maniera di Grant di creare di giochi di ruolo è estremamente singolare, cioè lui li scrive, li lascia lì per una settimana, va via e poi li riprende in mano. Dice non è profittevole come schema operativo per creare i giochi, però funziona perché effettivamente dice me ne distacco, e poi ritorno, le rianalizzo, ci ripenso sopra, come diciamo noi in Italia, ci rimugino, no? E alla fine esce fuori un prodotto che è valido. Diciamo che c'è questo rapporto di, penso da elastico, insomma, no? Quindi mi avvicino e mi allontano, mi avvicino e mi allontano, e alla fine escono fuori giochi magnifici, appunto, come, anche perché ragazzi, per creare un gioco con questo breve termine che sia coinvolgente, fatto bene, devi avere uno schema di lavoro. Ecco, questo è il suo, è questo qua, ed è molto curioso effettivamente. Ok, dear Rollin, it's your turn.
So I've seen in the chat that I look like Dr. Blake, who I've just Googled. I'm not seeing it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It gets to be Thor.
Yeah, no.
I got a beard, and I'm a white guy.
Okay, I repeat the question because I understand that maybe I have the idea that everybody listen to me 99%, but it's not the true, because even I'm not a beautiful woman, so you just listen a very ugly Italian man. So I repeat once again the question. I repeat once again the question. The approach, in your case, both for illustration and game design. What is your approach?
Yeah. Two very different things. So, as I said before, my approach for game design is to come up with a dumb portmanteau or pun, and Google it and see if anybody has already done that one. And then, if not, I begin to imagine what I could do with that. Usually it's what I let it cook for a while in my brain, as you do, and usually what I want to do is I like systems design, so I start with mechanics that describe an experience that I think would be cool to describe, right? As far as, I mean, there are all kinds of different. We can talk about how Orkborg came together too, because it was a completely different process than that. Because I'm not writing the thing, and also we had a system that we were working off of. Right?
Oh yeah, so easy. Oh yeah,
absolutely.
So, yeah, so
absolutely. The system of Orkborg.
As far as that went.
The system of Orkborg is something that is wonderful, and believe me, between me and Eric, we played many system of all version, Axe, Hex, and everything related to Orkborg. Okay, so we're speaking about Cyborg, Frontier Scam, all the OSR related with Orkborg. The easiness and the quick approach and the funny way to create each character in Orkborg is totally unique. Believe me, because Italian people said, I have a chance to create an orc that could be smart as a sofa. Okay? So I can charge in this character some things that are very cool. Okay, I had a one shot of Orkborg where there was a girl that created an orc that he believes to be a dancer. So it walks into the derelict as dressed as a dancer, but it's very big and huge. So this thing is incredible for her, and said, now I love orcs. Now I love them. I deeply love them because I create something that is mine and is as smart as a sofa. Okay.
Orcs are really lovely. Orcs and goblins, they occupy this really fascinating space.
Yeah.
In the sort of mythos of tabletop role-playing games, because they don't quite use the same. How can I put this? You know how, let's say, Deadpool doesn't follow the same rules as everyone else.
Yeah.
So like he can go around the comic, or he can speak to the reader, or that sort of thing. Orcs and goblins have a similar approach where they're not quite real.
Yeah.
So you can get away with more, and it's just really good fun to be able to embody that space. And it was really lovely to have the option to give people to come up with, try and write a few ideas about some orcs and give them enough. It's like, right, okay, like this is a person, but it's a really big, crazy person. Turn up to 11, you only have to live for 2 hours for this game. And so it was really lovely to give people the opportunity to do that.
This is very cool. Let me translate to the people in the chat. The curiosity is rising about this. Ok, ragazzi, stavamo parlando appunto di punti di ispirazione di Rollinkuntz, che ci dice: io a volte googolo tutto ciò che me lo trovo intorno, mi ispira per i miei disegni, che garantisco sono estremamente particolari e molto molto belli, con questi colori molto sgargianti. Abbiamo Maraichux in chat e lui può garantire l'unicità dei disegni di Rollinkuntz. Ne vedete scorrere qualcuno qui sullo slideshow. Ovviamente siamo andati immediatamente a parlare di quello che è il loro capolavoro che hanno generato insieme, ovvero Orkborg. Allora, Orkborg è un gioco stupendo che veramente avrà, non so, adesso Eric non esagero, saranno 30 pagine all'incirca?
Yeah, I believe sì, penso proprio di sì.
Siamo sulla trentina di pagine, in cui alcune sono la scheda del giocatore e altro, ma vi garantisco che la creazione dell'orco è di una simpatia incredibile. Tra l'altro è velocissima, perché il sistema di gioco è ultra testato e ultra veloce, tra l'altro tra i migliori hack di Orkborg. e se non conoscete Morkborg vi invito calorosamente a scoprire che cosa sia Morkborg e il fenomeno che rappresenta Morkborg. Giustamente Grant ha detto: è bellissimo poter interagire con gli orchi e i goblin, che sono creature comunque fantastiche, mitiche, lontane dal nostro percepire quotidiano, ok? E quindi è divertente poterle adattare, e ogni nazione ha un suo modo di adattarle, ogni persona, ogni party ha il suo modo di adattarle, ok? Quindi è bello per questo. E io ho portato l'esempio di una ragazza che ha fatto una one shot con me di Orkborg e ha creato un orco enorme che era convinto di essere una ballerina, tra l'altro anche molto bella e aggraziata, cosa che non era. E poi andava in giro per la Deleritta, che è questa nave dispersa nello spazio, indossando un tutù, ed era abbastanza inquietante, ok? Ma era funzionale, insomma. Bisogna sempre sapere che voi state mandando avanti dei soggetti con l'intelligenza di un comodino all'incirca, ok? Quindi la bellezza del gioco neanche del nonsense, ma del weird, se mettiamo così, del geek, se vogliamo mettere, è appunto il fatto che tu interpreti un personaggio che comunque è spigliato ma complesso, perché comunque interpretare un orco nella maniera giusta è la cosa migliore. Perché hai cambiato da divano a comodino? Perché il comodino mi risulta meglio in italiano.
Mi permetto di aggiungere anche una cosa, poi la traduco anche per gli ospiti. Una delle cose che io adoro di Orkborg e anche di Morkborg è il fatto come questi giochi siano, come io mi piace definirli, plug and play, cioè sono giochi che ti permettono di giocarci praticamente subito, accessibili e sia dal lato giocatore sia dal lato master quasi immediatamente. I'll translate what I just said. What I love about Orkborg and also about Morkborg is that those games are what I like to call plug and play. They are ready to play. They are absolutely useful to just bring to the table from the game master experience and the player experience. You don't need a lot of prep. You don't need a lot of reading of the rules to the players, and this is, I think, it's amazing.
I see a question in the chat about if Orkborg is inspired by Warhammer orc lore, and so first of all, absolutely, Grant and I are both. I think. I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but I think we're both
absolutely.
pretty
My
big
first love was orcs.
yeah, of the I grew up paging through the catalogs, the Games Workshop catalogs, and assembling an army of orcs and goblins, and then rarely playing. But those all the lore and all the art that cover those books of these orcs, it really gets across their lust for life. Like they're just so gleeful and joyful, even though they are heading towards catastrophe all the time, right? They're just happy to be there, happy to enjoy life, which I think is just lovely. That's what I love about goblins in general. When I thought of the pun, right, which was really just like lying there for somebody to make something out of. I first came across Grant through Goblin Quest back in the day, and loved it. And that was actually, like, the system of Goblin Quest was actually a big inspiration for Ragnarok as well, which is also about trying to sort of recontextualize death into something that could maybe be thought about joyfully, not like going to meet your demise, like not encouraging that, but like it's a hard thing to talk about, so it's nice to be able to put a positive spin on it. But I'm kind of getting off topic here. Anyway, I just knew that Grant was person to approach about that.
Yeah.
From your work on Goblin Quest, especially. I mean, the other work is also great, but that was the one that
But relevant
knew
to,
just like
to the project, I think. Yeah.
A couple of things that I would like to focus with you, because we entered into the Orkborg, so all the list of questions are jumped off, because Orkborg is something that here it's very intense and very well filled by the all people in chat and all people that is waiting for this live talk, okay? I have two things that I would like to focus. First thing is it's very funny. There are all possible races meshed all together in this ship, into the derelict. This is very wonderful, because when you told to the people that there are dwarfs inside the ship and you told them, do you know what dwarfs that are usual to use to go downside into the mines, into the land? What they are doing into the ship? Yeah, they are going into the mine, but inside the ship, hey, it's true. It's happened. They can dig something, okay? And he said, that's cool. And the second thing is that they like it very much, and is, I think, the most important thing of Orkborg. When you speak about Morkborg, there is a question of the end, okay? The end of everything. The end of everything became in some game something that is a little bit... okay, I have to do, because it's included into the lore of Morkborg. I just tell you one thing. Another game like a Cyborg, okay? Cyborg, it's a very incredible game, okay? It's another story. I love it. But there, the end of the word, it's a little bit too pushed, okay? It's something that is not... does not match very much with the incredible lore that they created as alternative of Morkborg Classic 1. Come back to Orkborg. Orkborg have something that is really unique, in my opinion. The end of Morkborg, so we smash this crap shit into a wall inside the space just to become a green wave. It's something that let people play with a very incredible freedom, because it's a mindset that is very uncommon into the Morkborg games that include the end of everything, okay? Do you agree with my analysis or not?
Yeah, that was 100% deliberate as well. So like we were adapting the idea. There's the old Warhammer idea of orcs rigging up a teleporter and then hitching a ride on a space hull and just going wherever they can.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to try and tap into that idea of well, this is boring. Where are we gonna go? I wanted to try and tap into that idea, but then take the ideas of Morkborg, which is the world is ending. And in Morkborg, the world is ending. Oh, and it's sad. Oh, it's terrible. Oh, everyone's dying. A lot of I think I'm gonna say about 80% of the omens which you can roll in Orkborg, pretty good as far as orcs go. It's oh yeah, everyone's partying because inexplicable drum and bass is playing all the time on the ship. And for me, I wouldn't want inexplicable drum and bass playing all the time, but for orcs, oh, that's great. And so taking the idea of they really love fighting, they really love explosions, and for us as well, I think I made them a bit more human than orcs make them. So they like big parties, they like music, and I wanted to talk about the sort of the different kinds of music that orcs like, because they're people, And then to take that and then say right, okay, the world is going to end once you've got 6 of these things, on your 6th roll, and that's really good, and you can't wait, and you're trying to make it go quicker. Great, brilliant. I don't really, I don't play games for a very long time. I don't do long campaigns. Never really got the knack of it, and so I'd much rather have a game which ended before. I'd much rather have a game which ends too soon than goes on too long. and that's how I write things, and I think Orkborg is pretty much bang on for that.
This is very, very cool. I make a little bit of translation for the chat, a little bit. Allora, stavamo parlando, ragazzi, del fatto che Morkborg ha due caratteristiche fondamentali. A parte il fatto che ci sono tutte le razze, anche i nani, e i nani dentro un'astronave sperduta nel nulla, voi capite bene cosa fanno. E io di solito quando sono master rispondo, beh, scavano. Ma cosa scavano in una nave? Beh, scavano, che ti frega, scavano, no? Ma fanno un buco. E vabbè, pazienza, andremo in decompressione, dov'è il problema? Stiamo viaggiando su un rottame in mezzo allo spazio, creato dalla collisione di altre navi, perché la derelitta, dove avviene praticamente il 90% dell'ambientazione di Orkborg, non è altro che una sorta di scarica spaziale con un motore che punta verso un muro per andare ad esplodere. Ecco, questo è più o meno quello che è l'ambientazione della derelitta, ok? Detto questo, la cosa interessante è che in Morkborg una delle caratteristiche è la fine del mondo, ok? Quindi c'è il termine del mondo. In qualche modo, quindi su Orkborg è ovviamente le piaghe, quindi le varie piaghe che portano alla fine del mondo. Ad esempio su Dead in Space è la contrazione dell'universo. Su Cyborg è ovviamente la contaminazione dovuta ai rifiuti che porterà all'estinzione della razza umana. Però molte volte, ad esempio, proprio come in Cyborg, è un pelo forzata la fine del mondo, cioè non è così comune, no? E quindi si tende a trovare delle soluzioni che siano un po' sì, vabbè, ce la mettiamo alla fine del mondo perché ce la dobbiamo mettere. Parlavamo appunto prima di Frontier Scam che ha eliminato alla fine questo problema, semplicemente dicendo ragazzi giocate tanto morite male. Detto questo, appunto ho chiesto a Grant il perché di cioè la vera funzionalità di questo gioco, che appunto ti dice libera i giocatori con questo mindset che gli dice voi vi schianterete nel nulla con la vostra nave e farete in modo che questo avvenga, e il vostro desiderio di vita, la vostra massima gloria, un po' alla Mad Max, capito? Ammiratemi, no? È quella di schiantarti e di diventare praticamente polvere di stelle. E questo è bellissimo perché libera molto il giocatore, lo rende libero di fare praticamente qualsiasi cosa, che è un divertimento enorme per il giocatore, ma è anche un'enorme sfida per il master, ok? Sei d'accordo con me, Eric? Vuoi aggiungere qualcosa?
Assolutamente sì. E sì, forse sono d'accordo sul discorso che sia un po' forzata in Cyborg, anche se ha un twist finale.
Sì.
Adesso non voglio fare spoiler,
No,
ha un
silenzio.
twist finale, però sì, in effetti forse se ne poteva fare anche a meno, e il fatto che poi ce ne si sia liberati in alcuni altri giochi più recenti sia forse un bene, perché
e a
ha
que-
particolarmente senso in Morkborg.
Esatto. E a questo punto invitiamo Salen a parlarne direttamente in live, così almeno ci proviamo. Ok, let's get back into English. Sorry if I make it a little bit long, but I would like you to explain what we said in as much as possible comprehensive way. And
no, this is great. It's very relaxing. You know, I can just kind of take a little break.
Yeah.
I speak a bit of Portuguese and French, so
Yeah.
I can understand about maybe 25% of what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
maybe I was too quickly. I tried to slow down a little bit so you can follow me.
You're fine. Speak for Italian. Your English is great. Let's just stick with that.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it very much when people that speak so good English like you tell me that my English is good. So thank you very much.
No worries, Bill.
Anyway, I have a question for you that is, I think is very important. It was on the list of the question that we discussed, but it's very important because I would like to know where you came from in terms of your creation, design, and art. So the question is easy, Grant. Who is the people, the games, everything that inspired you when you started your career?
Games Workshop, as mentioned. I really like the work of Andy Chambers, Rick Priestley, Jervis Johnson. I thought they had like the way in which that they would make worlds and give me access to those through the books. I think there's been a movement in like the Games Workshop fandom recently, where the books aren't the story, the codexes aren't the story, the art isn't the story. What Warhammer is your little guys, and when you play around the table, that's what Warhammer is. And so being able to feel as though that there's this huge, terrifying, strange, beautiful, ugly world, and they're like, "In you come, tell us a story." You like carve out your own bit. So I really like that. I really liked Terry Pratchett when I was growing up. I thought that his means of doing fantasy was very thoughtful and very funny and very clever. I like the way that he used words. What else? Let's go with that for the two.
Yeah, your reply is very interesting because Games Workshop is sort of a mom of everybody. No, at the end, even for the role play, the TTRPGs. With Warhammer Fantasy, with 40,000, with all the games related to the Games Workshop lore, it's something that gives really the alternative to the Dungeons and Dragons and Vampires Dominion, okay? Because when you think about the fantasy, you speak about Dungeons and Dragons, that's for sure, no? When you speak about the dark, you speak about the world of darkness, so vampires, werewolves, mummies, and so on. But when you speak about the space, when you speak about demons, the thinking goes to Games Workshop, okay, and to these figures that you'll find everywhere, from video games, from TTRPGs, miniatures, no. Who at the end the question is easy: who doesn't know the Ultramarine? Everybody knows Ultramarine. So at the end, it's
exciting kind of Space Marine.
Yeah, it's a topic. It's a topic. So at the end, who do not? This is why Games Workshop, when you pronounce this word, probably arrive you with the trademark police and say what you said.
You know what? We really wanted to call it ORK, because that would make much more sense. But ORK is a registered trademark at Games Workshop, and we didn't want to. But that's the thing. Like, we're not big enough to sue, and if they did try and sue us, we'd sell so many books. So come at us. Fine. But we wanted to try and make it so it's not a Space Hulk, it's a derelict. It's not it's Doom. It's like we've moved everything around a little bit, but I guarantee you every single person who plays Orkborg will go wah at some point and call it a Space Hulk.
Yeah.
It's just that's we just had to change the names a bit.
So we can expect as a expansion of Orkborg something about the derelict marine.
I'd really like to get a. I think we called them like angels of the Empire or something. We had them somewhere, like they show up in one of the omens. I think we've got some plans for what comes next. We're not entirely sure. I really want to do an adventure set on the elemental plane of noise, which I made up. But that sounds like fun, doesn't it? And I reckon if there's one person who can draw the elemental plane of noise, it's Rollin.
Okay, I'll make a little bit of translation. Let me do a little bit of translation. I will be very quickly, promise. Ok ragazzi, allora stavamo discutendo del fatto quali sono le ispirazioni di Grant nella creazione dei giochi di ruolo, e lui giustamente ha detto la mamma di tutti i creatori di giochi di ruolo, soprattutto nel Regno Unito, è la Games Workshop, quindi parliamo di Warhammer, ok? E giustamente chi non si è ispirato a Warhammer dalle miniature, dai giochi di ruolo, dai videogame, ragazzi, insomma, lo Space Marine, l'Ultramarine, sono termini che oramai sono di uso comune in tutti noi secchioni, nerd, chiamateci come vi pare, però poi alla fine sono termini che sono diventati di uso comune, quanto, che ne so, diventi oppure scheda del personaggio. Ecco, io penso che oggettivamente bisogna trarre ispirazione da queste cose. Poi sulla politica della Games Workshop noi stendiamo assolutamente un velo, non è qui il luogo per disquisire la politica di gestione della Games Workshop, però è indubbio, come ho detto sopra, che è la mamma di tutti noi. Detto questo, io ho detto, allora a questo punto potremmo aspettarci l'espansione di Orkborg con i Derelict Marines, no? Quindi gli Ultramarine della Deleritta, ok? Va bene, let's get back to English. Rollin, your inspiration. What's your inspiration?
So I guess I mentioned before, I too paged through the old Games Workshop stuff growing up, and also a lot of PC game manuals. PC games used to come in gigantic boxes, looking looking like board game boxes do today, right? And have these manuals filled with all kinds of illustrations and materials. So those were pretty big influences growing up, but also the comics work of Mike Mignola, of course, who did Hellboy, BPRD, Amazing Screw-On Head, all kinds of great stuff there. You can very clearly see his influence in my work. And also Frank Miller, who did
Yeah,
SimCity, and is
Almighty Frank.
certainly been canceled by now. But
you know what? He can still draw. We'll give him that.
he can. Well, I mean, I don't want to. Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
His SimCity work is incredible.
Yeah, great.
And they both use the like art concept of deletion and like continuing the line, right? So there's a lot of detail that is hidden in shadow and just like becomes shape in order to give sort of a more like noir sense of space in the world. And Mike Mignola's work is very like sculptural as well. For the Orkborg stuff, I had maybe like a year before that, I had gotten back into using like paint markers, a combination of paint markers and like cutting back into it with whiteout tape. It's like whiteout, but it comes on a tape roll. So, you can like lay down shapes and then like refine them with this tape and then like put it back in. And shortly, like a few months after that, I got an iPad with Procreate, and I started using that method digitally, which I feel kind of leveled up the work just as we were having the first ideas for Orkborg, which is pretty fortuitous. So I was able to kind of experiment with that new style in just the best, like having just a brilliant stream of chunks of text come to me, and then just getting to work off that, like really awesome. Anyway, so yeah, I would say, yeah, those would be my core like childhood influences. I would say there are many more comics artists that I could list, but I don't know that I learned or I didn't take a lot of elements of their illustration and kind of build it into my own work as much as those two. But later on, I found like Gabriel Ba is incredible. He did the Umbrella Academy and Casanova comics. And Eduardo Riso, who did 100 Bullets and a ton of other noir stuff, where he uses a lot of that same sort of deletion, but actually uses a lot more of the outlines and profiles of characters in his work. which is I guess I have worked that a little bit into the workboard stuff.
May I trigger a little bit, Rollin? I show you one thing.
Yeah, sure.
This is the original manual of Duke Nukem 3D. So you told about manual. I think that this is one of the things that I appreciated, because I had here on my desk, and I said, when he said, okay, the manual of a video game, and I said, who's better than Duke Nukem? Anyway, Eric, vuoi fare tu la traduzione di questo giro? Dai, di questo cavallo.
Più che altro avevo una domanda che
Vai, spara.
I found absolutely amazing how your style, portrayed the orcs. I think was it fun to finally bring the orcs to our RPG in this way, in a Morkborg universe? This is what I just want to ask you.
Oh, absolutely. And we had the freedom. I mean, I felt like I had a lot of freedom, enough to kind of experiment with, making them feel substantially different from the Games Workshop stuff. Like from a headline, people would assume that the book is going to look like Games Workshop as well, but I think it really does.
No,
It reminds you of it, but I think it really doesn't look like Games Workshop. If I did my job
an
right.
orc wrote it.
Yes. As far as the graphic design.
Yeah.
Yes, that is exactly what I was going for with the graphic design process. Should we talk about that, like the whole flow of things? Because there was some back and forth there. Like, we would agree on ideas of like, okay, so like the first thing I did was break down Orkborg, the whole book, and just kind of make a spreadsheet of like, okay, they've got this much, this many sections devoted to this much stuff. So if we compress that into what we can feasibly produce, which is like zine-sized or smaller, I think we started with like, this will be like a few pages.
Six
right?
pages. Six
This will be like
pages,
6 pages.
Yeah.
It turns out to like 30.
Yeah, I'll print it. I'll do it with my own printer. Yeah, sure.
Let me tell you one thing that is very important. The board that you see over here is extracted by the character sheet of Orkborg. So it's everything here is a tribute to this game, okay? So this is very, 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 very funny game, and so we decided to make this for you. And in chat there was Maraichuk, that is our friend, and said it's very good to hear the process as you arrive to create the pages of Orkborg. Okay, so this is very cool. It's very cool. It's very, very cool. So he's listening to you because it's an illustrator like you. He is very good illustrator, believe me. Even he's not Rollinkuntz, but listening how you create the things, the tape, the pencils, everything. It's very, very important for him. So it's a great contribution.
We can't drop images into the chat, can we? Let me show up here. I've got here's the PNG of the character sheet for reference here. I'll just put it in the Discord.
Yeah, just stick it in Discord then.
Yeah.
So okay. Yeah. This is okay. I can easily put it on the screen. Let me give you one moment.
Intanto traduco la domanda che avevo fatto
He
prima.
makes a translation while we are charging.
Ho chiesto a Rollins se appunto come è stato per lui realizzare gli artwork relativi a Orkborg, perché appunto disegnare, portare la grafica degli orchi perché la rende veramente unica il suo modo di averli immaginati. Diciamo che la cosa importante era quello di andare su un'estetica che si differenziasse da quella della Games Workshop, e quello è stato proprio un po' tutto il tema del portare, ecco, adesso pian piano inseriamo le grafiche della
Sì, sì,
scheda,
sì, eccole.
del portare quest'estetica alla fine in tutto il manuale. E l'altra cosa interessante è stato come condensare tutta la follia di questo manuale nelle pagine, che poi alla fine sono molto poche per essere il lavoro che è. Infatti, Grant diceva: Ma sì, facciamolo di 6 pagine, proprio andare a ristringere, a ristringere, a ristringere. A proposito delle influenze che hanno ispirato Rollins nei suoi lavori, a Orkborg, beh, ricordiamo Mike Mignola, che anch'io adoro, Frank Miller.
Mike
ehm,
Mignola, diciamo un nome così capiscono tutti.
Mike Mignola,
Eh,
sì, l'autore di, sì, giusto,
Hellboy.
l'autore, sì, io lo do per scontato, l'autore di Hellboy, e gli ultimi lavori di Gabriel Ba e Edoardo Risso, che sono altri due bravissimi autori di fumetti.
Grant, one thing for you. Wait a second, it's Grant Howitt. I have to say I love Hurt the City Beneath, and thank you for the fun I have playing your one pages. Less than 2 weeks ago, he was a master some Halloween's one shot using adventure skeletons. The witch is dead, and they likes. So that is the measure of people how much love your games, Grant.
Really glad you had a good time.
Anyway,
Abs-
yeah, okay, vai.
Absolutely. Also for me, I love the Spire, but art is absolutely my cup of tea. There is all the things that I love in RPGs. So there is corruption, there is darkness, there is gore, and absolutely, I loved art.
We have an Italian translation coming soon, I believe.
I know.
Yeah. Very exciting.
Yeah, they're working on it. So,
Italian translation for Orkborg as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, my bad.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I don't know whether that's been officially announced yet, but we have now. Yeah, it is unfortunately very hard to translate, as it turns out.
Yeah.
We will
Yeah, I wonder,
we will take care of the translation about Orkborg. I assure you, I guarantee. We will do in Italian because translated in Italian Orkborg, it will be very, very, very funny.
Oh yeah, we're doing it. I don't know who we're doing it with. I don't handle the translation side of the business, but we are. I think we're currently in talks. Is that right, Roland?
Yeah.
We are currently in talks. It's the same company that's about to do the Cowboy Bebop translation.
Okay.
But
Mana
we're not
Project.
officially. We shouldn't officially announce it because right now.
Oh, well, apparently this is it. Apparently we've officially announced it.
Whoa! It's our friend Eric. It's a friend of me and Eric.
We know them very well.
Il Rosso.
Eric il Rosso, bravo!
Is that...
Allora, complimenti, very congratulations to our friend Eric il Rosso to have guaranteed for themselves the translation of Orkborg. If they... No.
I think that we must wait a little bit for.
No, we take for ourselves. We take for ourselves. But if one day it happen, we will be very happy about that.
They're doing an exploratory mission to see if it's how
yeah, I know.
Because the thing about the Orkborg files, they're like, so when you design when you do the graphic design for a standard RPG, you're going to use like 3 to 5 fonts, and Orkborg's got over 60. It looks like it's been pieced together by an orc, zine style aboard the ship from scraps. and the spreads are really complicated. So, and also, you know, they're very tight, right? Like I didn't want to cut any of Grant's writing. He would come up with a new table of brilliant stuff that I absolutely couldn't get rid of, right? So like going back to the process, it was like, you know, I would find generally, okay, here's kind of the stuff that we need, right? Just kind of imagining like, all right, we need a section that's like setting, we need a section that's map, we need a section that's like character creation, right? Or whatever. And then Grant would come up with just these off the wall, incredible tables, descriptions of all these different sections of the derelict, all this different stuff. And so then my challenge was, I want to make, of course, some of the illustrations were already done sometimes, but those things happened at the same time. So the challenge was like, all right, so now how do I lay it out so that I can fit all of this stuff and also enough of the illustration? And that meant some of the layouts are very tight and very kind of puzzle like, especially the like the
modules
Doom.
of derelict.
Yeah, the Doom,
the Doom Heaven.
Prophecies of Doom, right? And the orc board character sheet was a that took some iteration.
Okay,
so that was tricky.
I have a quick request. A quick request that I had in these days when I spoke about this this talk with you. It was a kind request. The people is absolutely astonished and amazed by the small goblin under the feet of the yield priest. Okay, so they asked me, please do officially the character of a small goblin, okay? Because a small goblin, it's something that everybody would like to play, okay? Yes,
no,
please,
I'll do you one better than that. I'll do you a character which is 6 goblins.
Oh my god, this is amazing.
Because that way they can stand up against an orc, maybe. Right? You got 6 hit points, 1 per goblin. And yeah, that's entirely doable. Yeah. For anyone in chat who's interested about like seeing me do stuff about orcs, I wrote a game quite a while ago called Havoc Brigade, which is available online. It's a PDF only. But the deal in Havoc Brigade is that you're a crack squad of orcs infiltrating a human city. It's set in fantasy, and one of the characters is 6 goblins, who all stack up and run around and do their thing. But that's that. But if you want Orkborg, but laid out by me, so nowhere near as good looking, then you can have a look at Havoc Brigade, and it's like similarly quite it's quite freewheeling. It's quite big. But yeah, 6
fantastic. It's wonderful.
I'll sort out 6 goblins.
The general request, Grant, is we know that you are your work is so wide. Okay, so you write a lot of things, and even Rollin write and illustrate a lot of things. But remember that there is a lot of people that stays waiting any pages. You just let out about Orkborg for everything, because people is very inspired. I tell you my experience, my personal experience. When I read Orkborg, the first thing that I do is, no, I have to write an adventure by itself, okay? And I start to write this, and I played a lot of time. I test played, and every time all the people do something that is totally uncommon, so it's not possible to write anything about that. I can make it 200 pages of adventure just for one single shot, because everybody doing their different way. But the people is very linked about that, and the possibility to play Orkborg, and the possibility to the deter the derelict from the final target is so many, from planets, universe, everything, the crashes of other ships. So please keep writing on Orkborg.
One of the big yes, please keep buying it. Also, we still have more of them.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And
you deserve to touch them. The physical version is the way to go. I will just say that I didn't even it took a while to get to me, and I did not even expect how cool it would feel in my hands.
So cool.
Yeah. People is waiting for new Orkborg printing. People is waiting.
All right. We'll get there.
Yeah, you don't have to wait. You can go buy the ones that we have left.
Yeah.
I wanted to say one of the big tricks of Orkborg was like breaking down the Morkborg book, the structure of it, right, and then trying to compress it. We saw that like a third. There's a huge chunk of the Morkborg book that is the adventure, like the black. What is it called? Black Sludge Ride. Yeah. Anyway, the built-in Morkborg adventure, and we were like, we absolutely do not have space for this. So Grant came up with a method of just taking whatever dungeons you had on hand from any other system, just chunking it onto the derelict, right? That is my favorite.
which is very orky, I think, as well.
Yeah, it's a brilliant idea.
It's a wonderful idea. I don't know how you can have an idea such like this, but you had you had a 100% perfect shot. So thank you. But that is wonderful. When I read the first time, I said, no. Anyway, I don't want to steal so much time to our guests because I know that they have things to do as usual because they are very important people. So they are very important people and they have to stay with. So thank you very much to our dear friend of this channel, Mr. Grant Howitt, Mr. Rollinkuntz. Grant and Rollin, from me and from Eric. To have spent this time with us in this talk, and I tell you once again, when you want to come again and say something about and bring people with you, just ask, and you have a talk that it's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just for you. This is a promo like a supermarket, but it's not. This is a channel of Ubibol, guys.
You be careful, pal. All right. Because there's some. I'll be calling you at 3 a.m. asking to discuss the intricacies of Pendragon.
We gave you the trigger. We gave you the trigger, guys.
Yes, absolutely.
Orkborg.com. I'm gonna say it, and I dropped it in the chat.
Orkborg.com.
Absolutely.
There at the bottom of that is the link to click through to get the physical version.
Yeah.
Orkborg.com will be a landing page on itch, but it is better for us and for you probably if you get the physical version through Rowan Rick and Deckard.
Physical version is wonderful, astonishing. It's wonderful. It's things that you need to have, even if you play or not played, but just is a joy for your eyes. So come on, guys, let's purchase it. We're not speaking about 3,100 euro. We are speaking about a very reasonable price, because let me see one thing after I say you goodbye, but I would like to see one thing. I play tabletop RPGs since 1992 as Dungeon Master and as a player, okay? I arrived at a point of my life at 40 years old that I prefer to play games that give me challenges, very, very strong challenges as a master, okay? And moreover, in this period that everything is in crisis, I prefer to promote games that have a price that is reasonable, especially for the young ages. Because if I have to tell to a guy to purchase 100,000, 150 euro to pay a manual, the people prefer to go to the video games. And this is a very poor things, because make our world even day by day smaller. So I prefer to use a game like this, even if they are in English, because it's important that people, even the young people, learn English and start to play with easy games, with very immersive games.
Please buy your children Orkborg.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is
very
Orkborg.
Absolutely.
And let
Yeah, definitely do that.
and let
I want to see this in Italian schools by the end of the year. Okay.
and let kids to be evil Orkborg. Come on,
Yeah,
it's something that sets free your mind.
It's got swearing in, and kids love swearing. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Kids love swearing.
Yeah, totally. I think it will be a blast if we give child Orkborg in the schools.
Thank you for Mr. Twitch that allow us to make this a promo that probably in 1,000 years there will be not in every TV shows.
Yeah, absolutely, never ever.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much for staying with us. Thank you very much for spending the time with our Speaker's Corner. So, have a good evening, have a good night, have a good day for every part of the world where you are. Thank you very much. We appreciate, and please buy Orkborg and buy games from Grant Howitt and Rollinkuntz, everyone, because come on guys, they are great. They are great. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Grant. Thank you, Rollin. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you too.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.